Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Hades. Just had a little bit of an OBS glitch there, I think. So we're just going to start a new run, or start a new recording here. Obviously, we're in the very first room, nothing has happened yet. I took the... I've forgotten the name of it now. We're going to grab Curse of Pain here real quick. I took the... There we go. Nemesis aspect. Because I think what I want to do today is something people have asked for a couple of times and I've never managed to deliver on. There is an upgrade with the hammer that replaces the sword's melee swing combo with one big hit that hits really hard, and I figured the Nemesis aspect, giving us a crit chance on attack, would be a cool way to take advantage of that, so that is what we are here to do. I've taken the Chthonic Coin Purse, because I don't really have any strong feelings about where this build needs to go. You know, we already have the tools that we need to make it successful, and we're just going to get out here and smash some stuff up with the sword, because it turns out that the sword actually is pretty powerful and feels pretty fun to use. And I like the Doom on special quite a lot. I think that was a good first upgrade to find. So as I was explaining when things blew up in my computer, I think the plan for the series is going to be to just play through the end of the week. We'll have Friday's episode be the last one for right now. We are 100% for sure coming back to this game when it hits formal release. I am way into what they are doing with this thing. But for now, we'll do this and two more, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. You know what? I think I might have seen a golden pot there behind one of the pots near the Chaos Gate that I did not destroy. Alright, Chaos, show me attack buffs.
You enjoy a moment's peace within my space before venturing on in uncertainty. To my surprise, I must admit, I do appreciate the company. Actually,
special buffs would be totally fine too. We are not offered any of those things. 60% extra gold for a 3 encounter long move speed penalty. And there's definitely something to be said for this. Like, this is a lot of... So we currently have a 24 or 25% chance for things to be rare or better, and then another 25% chance for them to be epic. So this would probably basically remove... It gets us very close to removing the chance entirely for things to be base rarity. Because I don't know what the base rare and epic percentages are. But this is a lot of money, and we might already be in a really good spot on our boon rarity chances. I think I'm going to take Slothful Affluence. There's definitely some danger in taking a movement speed reduction when we are using a melee weapon, especially when we are using a melee weapon. But fortunately, it's nice and early in the floor, so we won't have to deal with it for the boss fight or anything. Oh, another thing I should say, we are on 2 heat again with the same heat modifiers that we've had, but somebody made the excellent suggestion in the comments of the last episode of turning the heat up for the last couple of episodes by adding the third sister to the end of the Tartarus fight, and I think that we are going to do exactly that thing. I want to go to the money... No, I don't. What am I talking about? We have 296 money already. Screw that. Let's go get an Aphrodite buff. If she offers us the attack buff here, especially a nice high-quality version of it, I'll be very happy to take it. And honestly, her dash is also very good. I'd be happy to have either of those things. But what we're really looking for is a hammer. Unfortunately, there's no keepsake you can bring that gives you an increased chance of finding a hammer, so we're just going to have to get lucky the old-fashioned way.
I sense the mark of my Lord Ares on you, love. He's poorly understood among the gods, yet surely you can see fair qualities in him and me.
It's always got to come back to me, huh? Passion Dash, yeah, I'm totally cool with Passion Dash.
No love without pain.
And, feels like we should take the yarn. Hold on, I guess I should have actually looked at the room rewards. Oh, we do have a shop. Maybe we skip that and then just hope to be able to purchase 2 boons in the shop. Pretty critical amount of gold here. Yeah, I think I'm not going to take the yarn. Maybe we'll end up regretting that.
How goes it, mate?
Alright, if we had bought the yarn, we wouldn't be able to get the Hermes buff and the heart, so I think we probably made the right call. Attack is 21% faster, probably actually pretty good with the thing we intend to do.
And here we
right? If we're trying to turn our attack into one big slow swing, just like remove all of the downside. Wait a minute. That almost looks like a secret route out. No, okay. Thought for a moment there maybe I had discovered something cool. Alright, let's just go smash some stuff up. I gotta say, I don't know if it's totally clear. Probably it is. I'm really, really into what they are doing here. I think that, in general, Supergiant just does really good work. But this one in particular is really working for me. Although it's going to be hard for anything to surpass Pyre. I had a real emotional experience playing Pyre, which a lot of you got to come along with. That is a thing I did on the channel. So if you've not seen that series and you are digging what Supergiant is doing here, might be worth checking out. Oh, that's a lot of extra damage on the Doom, but we're gonna hit with the people are gonna be getting hit with the Passion Dash constantly because I never stop dashing. So I think I'm actually gonna take this.
Thank you, gods.
You know, one thing I'm not 100% clear on is whether the Passion Dash can hit one person twice. Like if they're close enough to me or moving with me, can they get hit by the open burst and the close burst? We should maybe try to ascertain here. I don't know how easy that's going to be to check. Yeah, part of the problem is that it carries us too far. We can't really hit the same target with it twice unless they're moving. And for Zeus here, I don't know what I'm looking for. Actually, you know what? A Zeus cast would not be bad for us. Let's try to make sure we keep that buff up.
Yet to harness the surpassing power I shall grant you now. Don't take this blessing lightly, and may you use it well.
Yeah. Cast over the attack buff? Yeah, the attack buff is particularly bad if we're planning to reduce the amount of attacks in our combo, right?
Is my hair sticking up?
But I think his cast fits pretty well. We do not need this thing.
More louds.
No, I was thinking a little bit, this isn't actually relevant to this. This is something I was thinking last night because of something else I was doing. Sometimes, I don't know if this is a thing that everybody experiences, it feels like this could be one of those SB is intellectually insecure and it's just a me problem kind of things. But sometimes I will experience a thing, I will watch a movie or you know, whatever. I'll experience a piece of art, and it will actually kind of make me mad how good it is. I had this problem for a kind of a goofy reason last night, and not like I'm mad at the creator. Oh, that's one of those. I thought I had seen a Chaos Gate over here. Not mad at the creator, but sort of like mad at myself. Like I am never going to produce anything this good, and that's incredibly frustrating. Maybe frustrated is better than mad. But, like, it'll be upsetting enough that it kind of reduces my enjoyment of the thing. I'm just like, God damn it, why did you do such a good job? I'd love to know if anybody else experiences that, or if it's just my dumb brain. Do we want to go see Sisyphus and get some gold? I don't remember how much gold he gives us. I think it's like 100, and then obviously modified upward somewhat. Versus heart. I mean, we really need hearts. With a melee weapon, we really need hearts. I think we're going to go this way. I know that that's more than a heart's worth of gold on the line, but we can't necessarily assume that we will have the opportunity to spend it on a heart. It's unlikely, but not necessarily impossible, that we will never see a heart in the shop. I don't know. Now I'm talking myself out of it. Maybe I screwed it up. I guess I said it already. At this point, people are going to be asking in the comments if I don't say it. So the thing actually that had me so upset was this is a silly thing. The thing that had me feeling this way last night was I was watching some YouTube. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, YouTube, the video site. But YouTube recommended to me an episode of Unraveled, the live one from PAX, where Brian David Gilbert composes the perfect poke rap. And it's just like, it's not even necessarily that it's a super high quality thing, although I, you know, subjective or whatever, I do think it is. But it's just like, it's so perfect for him, and it's so much the thing he was trying to do. Like, it's it's maybe the best executed version of that thing it could possibly have been. And part of me is just like, I will never be in that place. If you're not familiar with the thing I'm talking about, and you're enough of a nerd to be watching video game Let's Plays on YouTube, there's a pretty good chance you'll enjoy it. I don't know, maybe not the way I do, where it makes you angry, but you probably get something out of it. Honestly, I just think the stuff Brian David Gilbert is doing over there, the whole Unraveled series, is really, really phenomenal. This does not look all that hard for a trove trial. I mean, I guess the point isn't that they're hard, it's just that you're supposed to get them done quickly, and we did not exactly set any land speed records there.
That's that.
But I do love getting to just smash up a whole lot of weaker enemies. That's very satisfying. Do we need more keys? I mean, over darkness, yeah, I guess so. Darkness is really low value for us. I think it's weird that Fated Authority is so expensive when its use is so, like, fairly marginal.
Nice try.
I'm gonna be honest with you, this build already feels very strong. And I really appreciate the way that the aspects have gotten me to use more of my toolkit, because I was definitely having a problem in the early game. And I know, I'm still having this problem, but I was having it more in the early game of, like, sticking to basically one button throughout a run. As much as I would like to go shopping here, we can't pass up hammers. Maybe there would be a hammer in the shop, but can't guarantee it.
Let's go, Stygius.
Okay, they offered it to us, we take it. The World Splitter. Okay, so it didn't replace the dash attack. And I'm going to assume that it didn't change the damage of the dash attack. That is definitely slower, it doesn't combo as nicely. It's not that much slower. And hopefully it'll play well with the crit. And then I think we're still looking for the attack buff from Aphrodite.
I was really hoping we could change the subject. Please?
Meg, could you maybe, like, talk some sense into her? Alright, well, it's this thing again. Alright, I have to do my special to get my crit up. Why did I dash in front of her? I know how this works. It's kind of tough because the crit percentage is so limited in time, like I really want to stay right on top of her. But it's not safe to be there. The good news is we don't actually have to... Ooh, Jesus. We don't actually have to hit her with the special to get the buff, we just have to use our special. But obviously, like, it sure is nice to hit her with the special. Oh my god, the imperviousness. I am not being as rewarded as I would like to be for my build. Yeah, that's pretty good damage. That was 360 damage already in Tartarus. That's pretty handy to see. Meg is killing me. I can't actually get out there because the thing that Meg erected there to shoot at us has collision. Like, I actually was not able to dash or run through it. We're totally going to kill her soon if I can ever get near her again. There we go. I remembered to use my cast one entire time during that battle. At least we got through it without losing a charge, right? Although I did get kind of close.
I'll take that.
It felt like I got closer than this. I really thought that was going worse than it was, apparently.
Seems the Fury failed to do her job.
What? It's a very tough pot. Okay, what do we want to swap to? Do we want to just swap to the Aphrodite thing to try to force that boon? We've apparently literally never equipped this, which I do feel bad about. Yeah, that's probably the right thing to do.
All set.
And then, do we need the life essence?
I can use this.
Let's take it just in case. I feel like I'm playing alright, but
Up we go then.
insurance, and it's not really that much money. So this is where I expect to have to start using the cast more often. Because, man, the enemies sure do love to
we're getting
be
somewhere.
either in or near the lava. Although, obviously, when they're in the lava, I usually don't have to do a whole lot. I do think that the Zeus cast is going to be super good on the Hydra.
More bloodless.
It's tricky though, like with the dash attack being not completely ideal to use is pretty that's pretty unusual. We've been playing the game for a long time now with the dash attack, I mean with every weapon, just being strictly better than the normal attack. But I actually want to attack without dashing first now. I've kind of trained myself into always dashing. Alright, that's enough out of you. Really? Did that not... It didn't feel the need to bounce a second time? I guess it didn't specify that it would bounce to multiple enemies. It just says that it bounces, right? Yeah. That's my bad for assuming.
All this time that I've been busing swords across the borders of your father's land, it's good to have the chance to help somebody out the other way.
Ooh, cast is faster is actually kind of compelling here. Quick recovery also obviously is health, but I kind of like flurry cast with the lightning.
Let's move, Hermes.
We're never going to have a situation where we only want to cast the lightning one time, right? That's not a golden pot, I don't think. No, okay. So I think there are a couple of different appearances for the golden pots here. And those ones have a little bit more color in them. But nope, it's just creepy skull pottery. You know, I'm just noticing the skulls on the raft, like even this one, they definitely have sort of like a magnolia feel to them. As long as I'm recommending things, by the way. Hellboy sure does rule. If you take nothing else away from the Hades series, it should be that Brian David Gilbert and Hellboy are roughly the same, basically identical things. Stop running! Oh god. There's so many waves. I'm so worried about the wave skeleton that I'm getting hit by other dumb stuff because I'm watching for more waves.
Olympus, I accept this message.
I don't think, to be clear, I don't think they're anywhere near as dangerous as I'm making them seem. It's just that... it's just that they've gotten all the way in my head now. I don't think I want to take base rarity Heartbreak Strike. As much as I want Heartbreak Strike, I think we're going to grab Aphrodite's Aid here instead. It's being offered to us at a nice high level.
Beauty.
Sadly, it turns out we can still get base rarity things. I don't know. I bet I could banish some of this creative envy if I just did some things that were more ambitious. I'm definitely like sort of in a groove here as far as YouTube production goes, and that's a double-edged sword. Obviously, there's something to be said for consistency of the output, especially from a making money perspective. Sometimes you try something ambitious and you don't really get paid. And as much as I would love to live my life in the ambitious place, I do also need money. As ever, late-stage capitalism makes fools of us all.
I so anticipate the day you finally arrive upon Olympus. There are few among us here with interests such as those I think we share.
He means killing people with swords.
There are at least a few of us who share such interests here. Isn't that so, Lord Ares? As for you, dearest, you take all the time you need.
She's into a different kind of sword. Yeah, this seems great, right? This is actually extremely awesome.
I will keep fighting.
And then Trove Tracker. We probably should take an eye. We probably shouldn't need an eye here on the second floor, but look at my health. Look at what I've done. I'm pretty happy with this. I have tried some more ambitious stuff from time to time, but people who have been around the channel listening to me promise things for a while can tell you I have a tendency to get promised things done very slowly or sometimes not at all. So I'm always leery about promising things. But I would like to do some weirder stuff. I'm not actually sure at all what to do here. Obviously, I value Artemis boons a lot. With 300 money, I would normally tend to go to the shop. We will probably be able to get Boon Plus in the shop, right? Although the shop might give us, like, Heart pomegranate. If we take an Artemis boon, we could just take the Artemis attack boon and have even more chance of critting our huge strike. That's not terrible. I think we're going to do the shop. I'm just going to hope to see a good boon in the shop. Because I do want to spend this money. I do want to try to get 2 things out of our room. We've gotten to the point in the game where we are considering room rewards to be a limited resource. Look at that. That could not have turned out better.
Thank you, mate.
Still get that Artemis boon. Okay, well, I mean, you can't not take support fire. Even with our attack being relatively slow, this is so much extra free damage.
The might of the Huntress.
Artemis really is just the best god. Goddess, I guess. You know. Is there a general term? Deity, I suppose. A non-gender specific term. I guess god is used that way. You could say god and people would get what you mean. I always feel bad doing those like male as default things though, because I think that's a sort of a real problem in our language. I try to train myself out of it, or at least train myself to be aware of it. What am I talking about? This is not directly relevant to the task here. Ow. Did you know those guys have bombs? Crazy. Get him, Zeus. I think with this call, we are definitely going to want to just wait for greater call. Except obviously in rooms where we don't think we're gonna get it. I'm trying to be more sensitive to the idea of potentially using the normal call some of the time, not always just waiting for the bar to fill. But a bunch of the calls are not any good if they're not completely full. Doom effects deal more damage when applied multiple times. We might want to take Dire Misfortune. I might be screwing up by not pulling attack buffs and waiting for Aphrodite, especially since now that we've spent our Aphrodite thing here, we're not necessarily guaranteed to ever see her again. But I am trying to hold the slot for the moment.
This means war.
So we can now multi-doom people, and we have that thing that makes weakened enemies take the doom continuously, which should be good against bosses, in theory. Yeah, I mean, even though we're attacking so much slower, we're like getting relatively very few arrows, it's still a lot of free damage. Oh man, screw this noise. Definitely all of the lightning bolts out immediately for Gorgons. Alright, I feel okay about that. I managed to evade a huge number of explosions there, and then almost get hit by another one immediately while talking about it. But only almost. Almost is a victory. We're down to 104 gold. Hold on, what is this? Okay, it is a money trove. I think we still probably don't go to the shop. But obviously we should take this. I will say, back on the subject of doing some more ambitious things on YouTube that maybe don't make a lot of money given the amount of time that goes into them, I am still working on that Fallout series. I know people are going to be asking in the comments on account of me bringing the subject up. Yeah, still working on it. It's happening kind of not super fast, if I'm being honest. You know, it's just life, but it's still coming. I forgot that we had a big buff to our gold output. Do we want to go to the shop on 248? If there's no golden pots in the shop, then this isn't really all that good. I think we probably still stick with the heart. We're just south of where I would feel comfortable shopping. And then it's going to be Hydra time, it looks like. I'm confident with the Hydra. We're doing a lot of damage here. We can probably shut down the individual heads in the multi-head phase pretty quickly.
I see you grew your heads back. There.
Ah, okay. Yeah, wow, that was fast. Jesus. That's right, I gotta remember to use to use my dash to apply weak, because we actually don't have weak on the attack yet. I am already, like, assuming that my attack deals weaken. I'm trying really hard to dash in such a way as to catch him with the edge of a blast without having to dash into the lava, but it looks like that's not really going to work that way. As soon as I get both of the effects on him at the same time, he's impervious. They're always impervious. All bosses, always. Yeah, Jesus, the damage output is absurd. So we definitely want to wait until we're working on the solo head to actually spend the greater call that we're building up here. Sometimes I talk about how it's frustrating that you get stuck in attack animations. And not in the sense that, like, it's definitely an objectively bad thing, because, like, that's an important strategic concern. Wait a minute, who just summoned an enemy? Aren't we on solo head here? That's weird. I'm gonna try to get him close to the phase change. Ah, I screwed up. My plan there was get him close to the phase change and then hit him with the arrow and try to see if we can kill him without going into the final head phase at all. Looks like that doesn't actually work. Yeah, screw this thing where they just decide to stay way out in the lava, far enough away from the platform that you can't hit them with melee attacks. Also, screw final phase being 5 redheads. What the hell, man? I will say, this run feels a little bit different because I'm so encouraged to do this thing, whereas, like, ordinarily it feels like it's very wrong to stand still for any reason. Here I feel very incentivized to stand still and just mash attack over and over again, and I mean, it's working, right? Don't you dare. Finish this guy off, and then as soon as his shield comes off, well, hold on, as soon as his shield comes off and he's in the cooldown from one of those. Yeah, that's a pretty good amount of damage. I wonder if it's possible. I wonder if you can kill him from above the final phase threshold. Or if he would just drop into the final phase and survive with 1 health or something. That would have been a cool thing to be able to test there, but unfortunately, none of my attacks do a small enough damage that we could, like, lower him slightly. I guess I could have dashed.
I didn't see you coming.
Ooh, look at all this.
Well, I did.
That's a lot of money. Alright, what do we want now? What makes sense? Somebody pointed out in the comments of the last episode that there are some trinkets or some keepsakes rather, that I've never really used. It's, you know, some of these just aren't any good. That's part of the problem. The skull earring's not so bad. We haven't ever used it, but, like, the bone hourglass is very middling. The cosmic egg is cool, but you can't guarantee that you'll get any benefit out of it at all unless you buy a light of Ixion at the well in between levels. The broken spear point doesn't seem any good to me at all. So as much as I hate to be boring and do the same stuff over and over again, I think we're going to be boring and use the same keepsakes. Do we want another Ares boon? I'm trying to think, like, what would be good for us on the attack? Probably, we don't want Poseidon pushing people back. We would like to be able to keep on an enemy. We don't really want Zeus, so either Ares or Artemis makes the most sense then. I mean, forcing Artemis does always feel pretty good. Yeah, let's do this. We'll actually be able to 3-star this. It's just Artemis is the best god by such a large margin. We don't have to take this, but we really should take this, I think. Honestly, we're doing well enough that maybe we don't need it. Maybe I'd be better off saving that money for other stuff. No, that feels like hubris. And while I know there are no gods or no stories about Greek gods and hubris,
Yes.
we're going to avoid creating the first one. It is a real shame, though. Seems like a theme that would slot right in there, huh? Artemis boon immediately. Gimme. I don't even know what we're hoping to see here. Like, obviously the attack buff would be fine. But she has some other cool stuff going on. I'm not even using my gimmick here. I'm just hitting people with the World Splitter. Because whoever told me this was good, you were right. This is good. It's a real good attack. Oh god. Oh god. We take the butterflies very seriously. Yeah, man, the damage is so good that the butterflies aren't even all that scary with it. Can you imagine such a thing?
So, Aphrodite reached you first, did she? Sounds exactly like something she'd do. She has a knack for trouble. So, let's just stay focused here.
Sounds exactly like something she'd do. Tells me that there's a history here. Pressure points, yep. I think we take pressure points over Deadly Strike. Deadly Strike is a pretty small boost to damage. It's a lot more critical chance. But I really, really do want that easier application of Weaken. I think we're going to take this.
Time to hunt.
And this lets me crit with the lightning and everything. Just seems very good. These are terrible room rewards. And that's a trove trial for damn gemstones.
Trespasser.
I mean, we'll take it, obviously, but I'm not happy about it. You know, when I think about more ambitious things I did that on YouTube that didn't get a lot of attention, I guess there's a little bit of confirmation bias there, because some of the stuff... Listen, me spending a lot of hours on a thing for no reason and then getting way more attention than it deserved is basically why I have a YouTube channel in the first place, with those payday videos that I did 10 million years ago. These are both such bad rewards. I guess the gemstones? But it is definitely the case that since the actual Let's Play part of the channel started, the videos that I spend more time on do tend to be the ones that get less attention. Some of that is subject matter. Yes, sometimes it takes a lot of effort to put the board game videos together, because I'm like cutting together sound from multiple people, and also like I'm coming up with ridiculous ideas, then spending an awful lot of time like editing the face of a walrus onto John McCartney for obvious reasons. But like ultimately, you can't blame the viewership problem there on the work so much as on the fact that I'm playing a board game on the internet, which is a thing that has somewhat limited cachet. Keys versus shop. We don't really have the money for the shop to be any good. Like, we could buy almost nothing at the shop, but the keys have basically no value to us. So I guess we'd go through the shop and see, like, maybe there's a gold pot. Let's make sure we're not missing anything here. Yeah, we'll go to the shop, I guess. Maybe there will be a gold pot in the shop and we can buy a boon with it. Or maybe there won't even be a boon available. Well, let's take the pomegranate.
Just what I need.
And probably the support fire, honestly. Although the doom would totally have been reasonable. So then, like, second hammer versus double boon. I think we should probably take the double boon. I'm not really sure what we're hoping for there. But I'm trying to think, is there... We haven't played with the sword enough for me to remember what the hammer upgrades are. I know there are hammer upgrades that boost the range and damage of the special, and that is significant. But we got the one that we really needed. I think I just want 2 boons. I just want even more numbers. Who are we taking first? I think the Ares Trial of the Gods punishment effect is really annoying, so we'll take his thing first.
Olympus, I accept this message.
After slaying a foe, deal tons of damage. The really bad version. These are actually all minimum rarity, which is an unusual sight at this point. I mean, sure, we'll take this. It'll help us combo through rooms. This is not really a boss fighting thing, but... Or Curse of Vengeance, maybe? Yeah, this probably has more value in general. It's less good in rooms, but it actually does something on boss fights.
Me before, nephew, and we both know what has become of him. I caution you against this.
It's not a great threat, considering that I'm already trapped down here in Hades with him. In the underworld, I guess, because, you know... If I call it Hades when we're talking about Father, that's confusing. It's a little ambiguous. I will say, I think Zeus's Trial of the Gods punishment effect is also one of the more dangerous ones, because it's less like, It feels a little bit more random where it's going to be, less predictable. Okay. That lightning bolt didn't actually hit me.
Oh, nephew, but I simply can't stay wrathful toward you, much as I might try. Though better not to tempt me, just in case.
This is really bad. Extra bounces on the chain lightning's not terrible, actually. Yeah, I'll take that.
Thunder time.
That was 6 consecutive minimum rarity boons that we saw there. Very unusual. Maybe the rarity increases are not properly applying to Trial of the Gods boons for some reason.
It's that big soul catcher again.
Look at how much damage we're dealing.
It's rearming. That one fully rearmed.
Okay. I think we managed to only let one of them through? That's kind of incredible. Our damage output is very silly.
Won't catch this soul, thanks.
Ooh, lightning effects also make foes jolted is cool. Still no attack buff. Well, I think I'll take a hammer over a pomegranate. I gotta stop taking damage though, man. I've taken a lot of bad damage since we got here to Elysium. All right. Okay, so that might have been enough archers to get the final archer entry in our codex. One thing I wasn't really thinking about while I was considering the build, and I probably should be because it's a significant damage bonus, is the damage boost from Privileged Authority, the thing that gives you more damage on enemies who have 2 status effects. Because of the way our things have combined here, we now have Weakness and Doom up on enemies a lot. So we're actually getting the 50% extra damage on all things against those enemies pretty frequently. And that's probably explaining a pretty significant portion of the burst damage that we are seeing here. Because like my World Splitter hits crit incredibly hard.
Time to tune up this sword.
Attack deals massive damage to armor. You know, special hits twice but does not knock foes away is actually kind of interesting. We don't really want it to knock foes away, and it'll apply 2 stacks of Doom now, which actually is meaningful. I think we'll take Double Nova. Double Edge is also interesting, but I think this is better.
It's new.
Anything else cool in this room? Looks like a no. Well, I do need more health, and I don't really need more money. Like, if we saw... This is always a tough situation. Around 229. If we saw a shop right now, I wouldn't really want to go into it, but we also don't need a whole room's worth of money to get to a point where I would feel comfortable shopping. So I think we're going to take the heart and just try to build up the rest of the money through natural enemy drops and finding golden pots. Pretty dangerous place to go for a special there. Right in front of the giant glowing arrow. You know, what I do wish I had was a little bit of assist from Lady Athena. Also, I should probably be remembering to cast. Because this would be a cool room to have deflection in, right? I think that's maybe like the #1 mechanical difference, or like decision-making mechanical difference between the early series and now, is that I stopped going after deflect all the time, and I'm not sure that that was actually right to do. I hate these chariots. Yeah, we took a ton of damage there from the fact that you cannot safely melee a chariot under any circumstances ever. They can always just instantly hit you. So we are not given access to a shop. I think we can go ahead and just safely spend here. So we'll buy an Eye of Lamia, then we'll do... Hopefully we'll get some health back during the Trove trial, then we'll spend Trove money on another Kiss of Styx. Or maybe we won't. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure. That might not be necessary. Okay. We got some value there out of the initial jolt. I gotta remember that it is worth it to shoot my cast at enemies to apply the jolted debuff.
Fine. Help yourself.
Yeah, alright, we actually gained health there.
Nice.
Which was a little bit lucky. So, do I actually want to buy a heart, or do I want to hold out for a shop and try to get an extra boon that I would not otherwise be able to afford? It does seem like the likelihood of a double boon is pretty low. I think we'll just go ahead and buy the Kiss of Styx. And also the yarn. I wouldn't have thought we needed yarn at this point with all of our buffs, but... No, I'm going to hold off. Try to just have more money for the next shop. And then, do we actually want to take the gold thing? Because if we take the gold thing, we will definitely have enough money for the next shop. It's also possible that we won't even see another shop before Styx. So we're pretty deep in here at this point. And that heart there represents a considerable amount of HP. But it's possible we have enough HP already. I'm going to do this. This is a little bit different decision-making than usual. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's right, and in fact, may mean that it's wrong, right? I might have already been making these decisions correctly. Yeah, I do love just seeing random 600s while we're running around mashing all of our buttons on the enemies. Oh my god, the dashing. And they're making a good point, right? The whole idea here is that they're trying to make you understand how the enemies feel when you never stop hitting the spacebar. And I get it, but also I feel no remorse. None at all. Oh god. Okay, it should be enough to blow up those little chariots, and then of course more spawn. Oh hey, we have a greater call available. Spawn me something to shoot it at. Alright, this guy's getting it. 2,500 damage. Alright, I think there's no chance we are taking a Zeus buff over a shop at this point. Show me 2 boons.
How's business?
Nope.
mate?
How about 0? What if I showed you 0 boons? The game asks.
5-second rule. That was 5 seconds, right?
And now it's time for the boss fight. I mean, I feel like we're in pretty good shape here. It is a little bit of a shame to have to spend an Eye of Lamia charge on a boss fight, but, you know, at least we are fighting 2 things.
Big crowd, huh?
We could get 2 drops.
By the gods of Olympus, you'll go no further on your wicked quest.
I think we're going to tear these dudes to pieces. Yeah, look at that. Like, it's so easy to accidentally apply the doom and weakness to both of them. We're getting so much free area damage. Oh, that's not a good time to do that. The sword actually lets you interrupt the startup of the special animation, like all the way until the sword actually hits the ground, which is something of a double-edged sword. I think we've broken the Minotaur's mind. Okay, he's figuring it out. Guess what? Haha, food! It worked! We are doing so much damage! I think this game is a really great example. Yep, saw that coming. This game is a really great example of how you can have system mastery be a primary driver of success in a game that still has very compelling moment-to-moment gameplay. I think there's we're actually just gonna kill him. Jesus Christ, that was good. Holy crap, we're doing so much damage. You often get a little bit of a split, sort of a false split, between people who want their games to be very systems-driven and people who want their games to be very moment-to-moment enjoyable. That's where you end up with like the weird split in the roguelite community where some people are like, no, it doesn't count unless it has like actual ASCII art and it's got to be turn-based. And not that I'm trying to trash talk turn-based games, because like you all know what I play. But I think this game is just a really successful synthesis of the styles. That's all I'm saying.
My keepsakes.
What do we want to take into the final battle? Is it the Myrmidon Bracer? It might be. Do we need damage reduction? Do we have the option of taking a damage intensifier? Not really, right? Like, the skull earring will work some of the time. I mean, this will give us bonus damage, although obviously not a ton, especially in the Hades fight. No, there's not actually a lot of ways to increase damage suddenly with melee weapons, which is maybe a thing that they could look into. Because, like, it'd be cool if there was some kind of, something that was sort of a counterpart to the distant memory. I don't know how you would do it without making it wildly overpowered, but I guess let's take the Myrmidon Bracer. The old spiked collar is a lot of health, but so is the Myrmidon Bracer, and the better you're doing, the better this is, because, you know, it increases your effective health by a percentage,
And
as opposed to the collar, which increases it by a flat amount. And at the risk of taking the drama out of this thing, I really do feel like we've got this. This is going to be one for the ages. And we're moving really quickly. Might be able to set a new speed record here. So just pomegranates and, of course, a hammer. We'll go for the heart first. I'm happy to see Zeus and Artemis pretty much always. Jesus Christ, the damage. Also, we've completely overloaded Zagreus' brain. The only quip he can come up with is, hey! Well, I shouldn't just stand there and let him hit me. That's a bad idea. I will say these guys are a little bit more annoying when you're a melee character. I had already spent all of my casts. There aren't really that many strong melee foes in the game, I'm realizing. Like, by the time you can, by the time we really had our build together, it was no longer a big deal for us to dash in on people and just special them without knocking them away and then hit them with the sword over and over. And it's not actually, the safest thing in the universe. Somehow I managed to only hit one of them with the... There we go. Got the doom on the other one by managing to get melee attacked. Yeah, they have big mouths. They can actually melee you over the gap there, which I don't think I had ever realized before. Okay, this room's not going to be too hard for us. The Aphrodite dash is really good at dealing with these little dudes. And obviously the lightning bolts would also... The chain lightning would also be helpful if we needed it. Probably shouldn't run over the trap trigger. There's not really a lot of benefit to doing that. What are you guys doing? I think they were confused. They thought this was the intruder. Okay. 460 gold already. It's a pretty good start. I think we will go ahead and buy Life Essence. No reason not to go back to full.
Heading back.
You know what? Maybe I should have bought that darkness. Because I think there's a real good chance that we're going to end up with a bunch of leftover money here.
All these tunnels.
With us not having any charged up boons to buy down there. The total cost of the rewards down in Karen's shop is quite low. Oh, wait, is that a bit of gold? No, it's like a bell hanging on the thing over the door. Fair enough. We should be able to chop that down and sell it too, though. Alright, that's enough of that. I took a lot of damage there. Turns out, those statues actually can be dangerous sometimes. I have very little respect for them, based on how little of a threat they are to a ranged character, and we very often are ranged, but If there are multiple of them in the room, it's tough to deal with them all with a sword. We could potentially sell the Curse of Damage. We're not getting a ton of value out of it, but it's really not a lot of money.
Oh, I hate this stuff.
He's right. I do hate this stuff. How did they manage that emergent narrative? Just straight cut his ass in half. And we managed to cap out our Myrmidon Bracer. I wonder how the Myrmidon Bracer interacts with things like poison. If the poison damage is affected in any way by it. If it matters like whether they hit you in the front with the poison-causing projectile or not. I will say, I do wish that these guys had friendly fire. I think it would probably make the rooms too easy, but it would be a fun bit of gameplay to try to, oh god. So many projectiles that I can't afford to get hit by. It would be kind of a fun bit of gameplay to try to bait enemies into the area of their attack. Also, I'm swatting the pot projectile out of the air with my big overhead strike, which I did not realize was a thing you could do.
Let's see.
I am not certain that I want to buy a Kiss of Styx. I will buy this. I think we're not going to take it.
Down the chute.
We probably, honestly, have too many of those things already. So do I want to buy another hammer? This is an important question.
There, Charon.
Probably. There are still some buffs to our special damage that I wouldn't mind having. Wider area plus 20%. Yeah, Supernova's good. And then we could grab one of these as well, or we could save money in case we run into a well. We're not saving for a Kiss of Styx, but just for like food and stuff. This would leave us with 36. We'll get back to a decent amount of money pretty quickly. So, 7 more damage on the special shot. This doesn't do anything at all, because we use this exclusively for the damage. This is a pretty big difference, and it's not like we're not going to take damage from enemies. I think I'm going to grab that. I don't know that that was the right thing to do. But it's really a lot more damage. Probably what you really ought to be doing, in general, is planning to not get hit. But you know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men when Zeus is around. Okay, we're good. Good clear. So here, I guess, we are hoping to get the attack buff. We've done this whole thing without any bonus damage on our attack, because all of the other factors are working out so very, very well. It is really hard to argue with the efficacy of an early Chaos boon to gold output. It's just really, really strong. I guess at this point there isn't anything that I would that I'd be willing to sell. I think we have a huge number of boons, but they're all actually doing something. I would really love to be able to... There we go. To be able to finish off that satyr, but the statue is making things really difficult. Okay. Well, the other route is the correct one. So yeah, this is a great example of what I was talking about yesterday, where, like, if your damage potential is high enough, you can just kind of play badly, and the speed of clearing rooms covers for you. I do think that maybe it could be the case that the little dudes just stop spawning in these rooms where it's like one really big, really impressive enemy and then 10,000 little guys. Without the big enemy, the little guys pose actually zero threat, so maybe they could just stop occurring. Yeah, right? Deadly Strike?
Artemis, guide my hand.
This is a weird thing. So we actually took quite a lot of damage on that route.
Here goes.
Here's hoping we find a well that has some food. I definitely got poisoned way more than I should have at the end there. So now, when we have the buff from our special up, the crit chance on our attack is like close to 50%. Right, because we have 20 chance from the crit buff plus 15% from this, plus 5% from the other thing, and I don't know exactly how multiple chances of crit are handled on rolls. It could just be additive, or there might be some weird overlapping of effects. Like there's a lot of different ways to implement that. But it's reasonable to assume that we're looking at 40 and a chance to crit that is at least similar to 40%, depending on implementation, which is pretty good considering that we crit for like 360 or something. Sorry, 360 in situations where we don't have tons of debuffs up. Quite a bit more otherwise. I do feel kind of bad for these satyrs. Whoever's dropping the enemies in here is really doing these guys a disservice. It does feel like somebody should do something about the satyr problem. I guess that's me. I'm the guy who should do something about the satyr problem. And we managed to get through that room without getting poisoned even once. Ooh, all the duo boons. Your collectible... Oh. Hey, that's pretty cool. Our Vengeful Mood just applies Doom every so often. It's, like, fine, but... So we would just want to shoot the cast out and then not pick it up after it falls out of the enemies.
Lord Zeus's strength.
You could probably build a really cool... Man, how would you best take advantage of this, though? Wait, who is that? It's... Zeus and green is Artemis. Okay, so it's the Zeus Artemis thing. So I guess, okay, Artemis has that buff that makes your cast ammo fall out of enemies faster. But you could do a cool thing with the other sword aspect, where you cast into enemies, then knock the ammo out of them and just leave it on the ground. Although since the thing you're knocking the ammo out of the enemies with is a melee attack, it might be hard to not accidentally collect it. It's not usually a thing that you're worried about. I guess what we really want to do is just cast the stuff right away so that we can get it into an enemy who can be killed. We already have more gold than we need, I think, so I'm not going to bother with the Trove Tracker, but I will take this. Because right now I think we were at low enough health that even the fountain at the end of the thing wasn't even going to get us back to full. It's a good 571 in there. Backstab with all of our damage debuffs up.
A satyr sack for my boy Cerberus.
We have way more money than we need.
Delicious.
Probably the dash again, right?
Much appreciated.
Boy, I really don't want to know what that fountain is.
Oh, Cerberus. Look at all this.
We don't quite have enough money to buy out the shop. I think I'd probably take the Hermes boon over over a single pomegranate. Single charge pomegranate. And, like... That's a pretty significant increase in damage. We're doing a lot of attacking, but I'm wondering if this is better. Because this is going to be the Doom that's hitting people over and over again, we probably should take this. And then you're going to give me... Ooh, your dash makes nearby foes 50% slower for 1 second. Well, that's interesting. Especially considering that I don't think either of these is any good at all.
Time to go.
The fearsome Cerberus accepts the satyr sack.
You know, we've seen a lot of boons over the course of this series. And a lot of boons... Cerberus annihilated his appetite. We've seen a lot of boons over the course of the series, and especially a lot of boons with rarity increasing effects and stuff. We really have not seen very many legendaries. They must be, like, really, really, really rare.
Business to take care of, then.
The sea and air are very still this eve. though I suppose that is about to change.
Well, probably not the C part. Okay, this may be a little overzealous. Ah, I picked it up again. It does say they strike nearby enemies every so often. I'm not actually sure what nearby means in this context. I don't know how to measure distance in this game. We'd probably like those to be a little bit more central, though. We are working him over. I'm gonna grab these again, actually. Nope, that's the wrong dash. Seems like they might actually be good here. Can't help but notice that they didn't get stuck in the enemies. My plan was to use those enemies to catch the ammo.
When shall they ever learn?
That meddlesome goddess of love. You've no control over your brutish strength.
You know what she really loves is when I totally kick your ass. That was actually a bad pickup. That cast was already, that Bloodstone rather, was already in exactly the spot we wanted it to be in. Probably don't need to actually hit this guy. Like, we can just kill Zeus or kill Hades here. Yeah, that was pretty good. I mean, not in terms of me taking way too much damage. Just let that hit me. I got an idea. Why don't I just get hit by everything so that I can continue meleeing nonstop? I will say this, I don't usually think of Aphrodite as one of the more damaging of our Olympian allies, but she has contributed a ton today. Not a great time to be stuck. Ow. Okay, everything's fine. I will say, I think I was doing a really good job of not picking up that Bloodstone.
And yet.
Yeah, yes, and yet. And yet here we go, back to the house.
Made short work that time.
43 minutes. New record, 4 streak. You know, I think we might be getting the hang of this. Want my Bloodstone back. Hey, mate? Okay.
Should fetch me something.
The trials of Prince Agris have only just begun.
Straight and to the point. I like it. Yeah, I gotta say, it seems like maybe when we picked up that duo boon, it reduced the range at which the cast ammo comes back to us, which is a really nice feature.
Well, everybody.
Welcome to the House of Hades, and thanks for dying.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Hey, where's Orpheus?
Underworld renovations.
I guess Cerberus is still eating. We did kill Hades in record time there.
You're getting somewhere with that codex, lad. I'm pleased to see it. My duties to the house have meant that lately, I can't travel quite as much as once I did.
I'll try to travel for the both of us, Achilles. I've seen so little other than these walls.
You know what? She's earned it.
What? There must be some mistake. Prince, you're giving this to me?
I want you to know we all appreciate you, Dusa. Don't work yourself too hard on my account, okay?
Hi, Prince. I fed Cerberus already. All 3 heads.
Aha! You do have to feed them separately. I knew it. Either that or she's just a big softie and he's taking advantage of her. Because dogs are real good at that.
How goes your heated rivalry against the greatest king of Athens lately, boy? Your battles with him and the Minotaur must be the talk of the underworld of late.
Admitted, Father. Theseus was the only hero you were able to recruit to stand against me. All the while he gets to boast about being the champion. Well, it was Heracles too busy for the task.
Oh, sick burn.
Speak not to me of Heracles. You know these heroes by their deeds, not by their character. Heracles is fortunate he's in my brother's favor. Else he would be in Tartarus where he belongs. The mortal concept of what constitutes a hero is absurd.
I'm sure for Hades, a hero is whoever can get his beard to do that thing he wants it to do.
They should have asked
Look
the
at it.
expert, I suppose.
Look at it, it just doesn't make any sense. I would describe that as a heroic effort.
What's on your mind, contractor?
Music, hold on. We'll come back.
I must confess something to you, my friend. My mind still wanders to Eurydice quite often, and my memories of her, despite my best attempts to move along with my existence here. I would call it a fatal flaw, except I am already dead.
Don't torture yourself, mate. You've been through enough, as has she. You still care for one another, just don't have a way to get the point across. But I have an idea.
I too once had ideas, Zagreus. Ideas and inspirations. It was so very wonderful to have a muse.
I know.
I'm not reading the situation wrong, right? Is it just me? It doesn't seem like Eurydice is interested at all, but Zagreus has just assumed that she must be for some reason. It's a very odd tone that this part of the game is taking. Pay... You know what? I will pay 10 gemstones for an ambrosia, so that I can give Orpheus some ambrosia too, because he clearly needs to get his mind on something else. Nope, can't give him the thing anymore. Well, I guess we'll just hold on to this one. Maybe I'll give it to Skelly. We don't have enough darkness to do anything. We're very close to being able to max out Olympian favor. Not that it matters terribly. So, we had a very successful run here today. This worked way better than I even had dreamed it could have. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to give this to Skelly. He's working hard.
Now, you being serious here, pal? You brought that all this way for little old me? That's real nice of you.
You're not so bad yourself, mate. Thanks for always being here for me to savagely attack without a second thought.
So we have 2 more runs left. I don't really know what we're going to do, except that I think we're going to go ahead and take it up to 3 heat. We're going to try the really difficult version of the final Tartarus encounter. So, let me know in the comments what weapons and aspects and strategies and stuff you would like to see. We have an awful lot of resources available to devote to the weapons. We have some keys with which we can improve the aspects. And I really don't have any strong feelings either way, so y'all are really driving on this one. That is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time, tomorrow, to see if we can lose a run in the first world. And we'll see you then.